Hello, I'm Tony Mitra, and today is the 14th of December 2020, and I have something to say about the ongoing farmers' protest in Delhi uh, and something that happened which I had some input on, and I made a post on social media yesterday regarding a lady who is one of the leaders in the protests. I don't know that she's the main leader, but she's one of the persons who has gone there representing the protesting farmers. I know her, and I have some doubts about the selflessness of this lady to promote farmers' interests. I'm an independent human being. I have my rights to my opinion. I do not speak on behalf of any government or any NGO or any agrochemical or any other kind of corporation. My only interest is the welfare of the people. I'm Tony Mitra and the author of the book, Poisoned Foods of North America. Now, what I'm going to read today is a post I made yesterday about this lady, one of the leaders of the protest. I did not know she was the leaders of the protest. I came to know something about it from a post by someone I know who is a promoter of organic farming in India, who said that this lady was apparently in Delhi and that some people made a derogatory comment or maybe a poster or some headline in news or something that was not very kind to her and not very complimentary. So the post sort of condemned this practice. There were also a few pictures on the post, probably of some poster that appeared somewhere in the protest in Delhi. So this lady's name is Kavitha Kuruganti, and I have my doubts about the leadership, not so much about the farmers' protest. The matter is complicated because on one side there is this issue of farmers' interest, and farmers' interest, farms' interest, sustainable farming's interest, consumers' interest in the rights to eat clean, economical, clean, healthy food has been compromised in India and continues to be compromised in India for over 60 years. And this has happened all over the world. The food in North America is shot to hell already for the same reasons, the same interest. So this is not new. The protest is geared against some new sets of bills which will also probably benefit corporations and agro industries and toxicity pushing industries and steal the land of the farmer, take the farming into industrial hands and disenfranchise the farmer, push them away from farming. All this is probably will happen to some extent. That has been happening a long time in different bills, in different ways, in different practices, under different governments of different platforms. Whether the protest is honest or not is the question. Am I protesting in Delhi because I want to fix the farmers' problem? Or am I protesting because I want that government to go so I can sit in the chair and do the same harm to the Indian farming as they are doing, but this time it will be my control. I benefit from it instead of you benefiting. This is the issue. And people are not coming clean. It's not the issue of the bills that they're protesting. It's the issue of who is protesting and what is their interest. That is something that I cannot get my grips on it, and that is one reason I have not come forward to support this protest properly. I'm not sure who are behind this protest, whether they're genuine farmers or they're political activists and so on. And NGO pushers, I mean, NGOs are also questionable, whether they do things for the benefit of the people or they do think they donate money to these NGOs for some ulterior motive. This is a common thing. So this lady is a face of a lot of that farmers' protest organizations and unions and NGOs and so on. Her name is Kavitha Kuruganti. This is what I wrote. When I came to know about it, this is what I wrote there. I have a right to, at least to my knowledge, put forward another angle to the truth of it all. About Kavitha Kuruganti. I do not know all the angles behind the Delhi farmers' protest, and I do not know what specific criticism is being levied against Kavitha Kuruganti, so I shall not speak about that issue. However, I do not fully agree about her selfless contribution to sustainable farming for India and for Indian consumers. I have reason to believe Kavitha is a megalomaniac, a control freak, and a limelight hogger, and quite dismissive of anybody that has opinion that does not go with her view or style. This fact is pretty well known, but many would hesitate to bell the cat. I know she personally tried to kill the efforts of Indian volunteers to call me at various towns while I was in India. That was 2 years ago, about, to speak about the ravages of glyphosate and to hear my warning that the Indian public was being subjected to mass poisoning from large quantity of imported highly toxic lentils from Canada. This practice was, apart from damaging the health of the consumers, was also geared to kill the Indian small farmers by flooding the market with cheap, toxic imported food. My prior warning note to the farmers' union groups in India, where Kavitha Kuruganti is one of the lead organizers, went nowhere in alerting either the people of India or confronting the government. If she was not working for pesticide peddling corporations, then why did she do that? Why did she want to kill my talk? I don't know. Some volunteers that spoke with her and urged her to support my presentation to the people about the ravages of glyphosate and about the warning that Indians were being mass poisoned from imported lentils, food crops that are being imported by the government to flood the market with cheap stuff, harm the farmers and harm the consumers by giving them toxic stuff. She killed those efforts of the volunteers by telling them it's not relevant for India. Just imagine. Indians mass poisoning themselves by eating toxic imported food is not relevant. She reportedly lived in Bengaluru at the time. Volunteers from the same town paid for my flight to let me speak there at 2 different venues on consecutive days, and yet she made sure not to promote my talks there, and same time she made it a point not to attend. In my book, she put her own ego and personal issues. I don't know what those personal issues are. I do have a right to know. I suspect those personal issues are pushing corporate interests ahead of public interest. And she put them ahead of the interest of India. That's what I saw. You will perhaps excuse me for not having too much respect for such prima donnas. And later on, she even had the gall to ask me through third parties to pass her peer-reviewed papers on glyphosate research. My warning to the people of India did reach the Indian Parliament despite Kavitha's efforts to kill my talks, because some other politicians, members of Parliament in India from the province of Odisha, took notes of my talks and challenged the Minister of Food on the floor of the Parliament at 0 hour, at question and answer hour. Politicians that I did not even know personally did what Kavitha, despite knowing me for years and being well aware of my point of view and the content of my talks, declined to do. I do not care if my criticism of Kavitha upsets people here. Nobody is a saint, certainly not Kavitha, and nobody has absolute right to the ownership of truth. Too many people are too shy to declare truth as they see it, and therefore there is too much of mud on the ground. Kavitha can be many things, but in my judgment, she is not at all pure as driven snow. And therefore, I question the integrity of people who are driving this farmers' protest in Delhi. If they can accept her, somebody like her, in the leadership rank, are they really for the farmers, or are they all for their own little goals? Whatever it is, I suspect political agenda is behind it. And I lament the fact that knowledgeable people are not yet coming clean. At least I try to talk to them. I have not succeeded in talking to any one of them properly. And I think they're shying away because it's a political hot potato. It'll upset many people. Maybe it's difficult to, stay in India and be involved with journalism or with fact finding or with activism if you sort of rub some people wrongly. I don't have any stake. I don't live there. I don't care if I upset people. My intention is not to upset people, but try to dig for the truth and not one side of the truth only. Yes, farmers are being disenfranchised, but that's been happening for a long time of all political parties. What are you interested in? If you are interested in saving farmers, what have you been doing last 60 years, 50 years, 40 years, 10 years? What have you been doing? And why are you lining up with people who are themselves questionable in this matter? Are they really farmers? No, many of them are not farmers. What are their interests? Why are people from one or two provinces overwhelmingly more in the protest and not others? The farming problem is all over India. But anyway, so there are many issues there. I have my doubts whether this farmers' protest is genuine. It uses a genuine concern, yes, and that's the ploy. They always take a genuine concern and hijack it for their own personal agenda. This is what I suspect. I will change my opinion as soon as or as and when I come across better evidence. Right now, this is the evidence that I have, and I do not have much faith in people like Kavitha Kuruganti. She is not a farmer. Whoever badmouths her, I don't say that they should have done whatever they did. I don't know what they did. But I thought that I should make this video public. And I don't know if my post will stay or not, how many people reads it, but that's me. And that's one of the reasons these Canadians who are looking at the Delhi protests and thinking, oh, they might widen their views and join us. Those of us who are protesting the loss of democracy and lifestyle and humanity, which we are facing under the pretext of the COVID or the fear of COVID, that these people might join us. I don't think that's going to happen. They are not, according to me, broad enough to consider COVID, and I don't even think they are broad enough to consider the welfare of the countrymen. They're all busy considering their own interests. This is my take as of now. This is Tony Mitra, 14th of December, Delta, BC, Canada, and that's my opinion. Thank you for listening.